Hi, good afternoon. Today we'll discuss about right triangle calculations. Right triangle calculations in plane triangle, they're very useful in marine calculations. Bow and beam bearings, shadow calculations. These are very basic in marine calculations. So let's go direct to the point. Right triangle calculations, very simple. It's just SOHCAHTOA. Just remember, SOHCAHTOA. Sine of an angle, opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine of an angle, adjacent over hypotenuse. Tangent of an angle is opposite over adjacent. Now we have to identify. The basic description of right triangle is very simple. Any triangle that has a 90 degrees, this one, 90 degrees, as you can see, is considered a right triangle. There are basic principles in triangle. All the angles inside the triangle, if added, will always be equal to 180 degrees. So A plus B plus C equals 180 degrees. Then, on the sides, we have the 90 degrees. On the other side, it is what we call hypotenuse. It's always be the opposite side. So if this is the angle, this is angle B, and this is angle A, the opposite side of the 90 degrees is always hypotenuse. Now, the other angles and the other sides, BC and CA, depends on the angle that you're going to use. It's a common error that people will always memorize, which is adjacent, which is opposite. No, you should not memorize that one. Why? Because you can actually identify opposite and adjacent depending on the angle that you're going to use. Now we'll start. We'll start with the application. Okay, the basic applications of bow and bearing is actually a right triangle. First bearing, second bearing, and you wait, the lighthouse will be a beam. So a beam is actually a 90 degrees, like my animations. So the principle of bow and bearing calculations emanates from a 90-degree triangle, which is a right triangle, and we will discuss more about this one. This become very easy for you to understand because I will teach you the basic principle of calculation in a very simple manner. Okay, let's proceed. Right triangle problems and solution. A basic problem. When the sun has a certain altitude, it is noticed that the tower shadows 100 feet long. At the same time, a pole is 5 feet tall, casts a shadow of 6 feet and 3 inches. Find the height of the tower. So, given is very simple. The given is the tower shadows of 100 feet, pole shadows of 6 feet and 3 inches. 1 foot is equivalent to 12 inches. So, the basic principle of calculations on right plane triangle is to first identify the basic given. So the basic given is 100 feet long. This is the tower shadow. So if I'm gonna show you the Excel solution for this one, the Excel solution is this. This is the tower shadow. So I have to. Okay, this is the tower shadow, and it created two triangles. Why two triangles? One is 100 feet. Okay, I'm going to show you this one. Shadow. The other one is the other shadow is actually 6.25, and it is given that the height of the post, which is shown on this animation. Okay, show you the height of the post. Now the second pole is 5 feet pole, and its shadow is 6.25. Why it is 6.25? Because 3 divided by 12 is 0.25 inches. So basically if you would see that the height of the pole is 5 and its shadow is 6.25. Well, the other one given is the tower shadows only. The tower shadow which is 100 feet. So if you go to the Excel drawing that I shown, the triangle, the height of the tower is actually missing. Okay? So, the shadows is 100 feet. And the shadow on the second is 6.25 feet while it is 5 feet. This will not give us the answer. Will not give us the answer. Because here, we can solve the answer using this one because it has two sides already, which is 5 and 6.25. Now, two solutions. I'll give you two solutions. One by calculator, a scientific calculator, and one by Excel, which is what we're using right now. First, by Excel. Okay? The height, I'm talking about this one, the height, it is given as 5. Okay? The shadow is 6.25. Okay, so angle A. This is angle A. Angle A is the one that we are looking for because the sun is here. Okay, the sun is here and they are creating two shadows parallel to each other. So here is the angle 1. So this is the one I told you, the opposite and the adjacent. If I gonna use angle A, the opposite side of the angle A is the BC, which will become 6.25, which is the shadow now. It is the opposite and the adjacent will be the 5 feet. Why it is adjacent? This is angle A, it is beside angle A. So it is simple the adjacent. Now, so katowa, if it is opposite and this is adjacent, we're talking about tangent. Opposite and adjacent. So opposite over adjacent, tangent of an angle is actually will give you the angle. Let's solve this one. In the Excel, you can just write degrees, no? Equals, this is the formula of Excel in getting this one, equals degrees. Okay, degrees, and I'm writing this one, it will give the same answer. And what's the opposite? Then the A tangent, because you're looking about A tangent and you're looking about the opposite, which is 6.25, which is the shadow, and over the height. And it's yes, and it gives you 51.34 degrees. Okay, so basic principle. Now I'm filling up every using Excel. Okay, now angle B is very simple. Why? Because remember the principle, 180 degrees minus the other angle. So I would just plus this one and plus this one will give me 36.65 degrees. That's angle B. So we have A, we have angle B, and we have angle C. So what's the hypotenuse then? Okay, the hypotenuse, there are different solutions on how to solve it, but it is not being asked by the questions. The one being asked by the question is the height of the tower. Okay, remember that the angle A, okay, the angle A is also the angle being used on this one. So if this is angle A on the small one, this should be the angle also in the big one. So I would just copy this one, 51.34, okay, and it will give me the angle A. Okay, so angle A, and this is angle B. Now, what is missing is the height of the tower, which is adjacent. Okay, what is missing is the height of the tower, which is adjacent. The adjacent formula, and you have the opposite over adjacent will give you another, and you have already the angle. Okay, what's the angle that we are talking about? This is the angle A, which is 51.34. Okay, so you use this angle to multiply or to get the height of the tower. Okay, the shadow is 100 feet. Now, I have the angle A, it will become tangent, no? In a basic solution, it will become tangent 5134, okay, equals to the height of the tower, okay, which is opposite, which is 100, okay, over the height of the tower. Now, I have to put this so that you can understand like this. Okay, so this is the basic if we have to solve in the calculations, and I have to put a line here. Okay, because we're using Excel. Okay, 100. So if you multiply this one, because we're looking into height, a cross multiplication will give you height of the tower, okay, is equals to 100 over tangent 5134. Okay, so this will give us the height of the tower. Okay, so stop. As I told you, the height of the tower can be solved by this solution, which is 100 over tangent 5134. Now, we're gonna solve how we're gonna make tangent 5134 in Excel, no? So, it's very easy. The tangent 5134 in Excel shall be like this, okay? It shall be like this. It shall become tangent. Then you must put the word radians. Okay, so again, I would say equals to tangent. Then you have to put radians, because this is the syntax for this one. Radians and 5134. Okay, so this is the equivalent. Okay, so this is the equivalent of this one. Radians. This is the radians. 5134. So again, I show you the formula. The formula is here. Tangent, radians, 5134. Okay, how to solve this one in Excel? Very easy. It just for 100 equals tangent, then radians, 5134. Then you have the height. Okay, so the height of the tower, which is being asked by the problem, is simply to be 80 feet, and the shadow is 100 feet. The angle A is 5134. The angle B is just also, of course, it's just the same. Okay, now the hypotenuse, which is this one, okay, is actually irrelevant to the problem, but we can solve that later, because we're gonna use another formula. What we call Pythagorean theorem. The Pythagorean theorem is simple, that says the hypotenuse of a right angle, the square of the hypotenuse of a right triangle, is equals to the square of the sum of the opposite and the square of the adjacent sides. We'll discuss that one later. Before I'll end this lecture, I'm gonna show you how a scientific calculator will be done. Okay, scientific calculator. You have a scientific calculator in your house. If you don't have, buy one. If you don't have, use a computer, and we call Windows, we have what we call scientific calculator. Here you will have standard and scientific. This is a free Windows software, scientific. Now let's solve the first problems. Remember we have here. Okay, gonna put this here. Okay, so you were looking about the angle A while ago. How gonna solve that one is very simple. 6.25, okay, using calculator, divided by 5 equals, then you go to trigonometry, inverse function, and you go tangent. 5134. It's magic. You fill up here. Okay? Okay. Then the angle B is cannot be solved by calculator, but it can if you want. It's very easy. 180, okay, minus 5134, minus ulit. Minus 90. No, you have 3866, which is the same with Excel. Okay? So, now, the height of the height, how do you gonna solve the height? Here it's quite easy because you have already the 5134 tangent, okay, and you have to multiply with our solution, which is 5134, 100 divided by this amount, okay, 1.25. So basically this is 100 divided by 1.25. Okay, so 100 divided by, which is tangent 1.25. It should give you, okay, it's 100 divided by tangent 5134. So the 5134 is actually the, so if you have 100 divided by 51.34, then you go to tangent equals, you'll have 80. And your answer here in Excel is actually 80. Gentlemen, fellow mariners, that's only the first of the solutions, of the 1,000 solutions I'm gonna share with you using the calculator, the Excel, and the calculator on the left side. Captain Radian Paka TV.